Actually, do you mind? I know we're gonna have to let you go. I can't stop looking at your background. What is the coolest thing you have back there? Like,
You want to see a couple of things from
Yes,
Yes,
please.
we'd love to.
We'd love to.
Michael Giacchino show and tell.
I was wondering what was in those glass
I love
cases.
the lighting. I love the contrast of the green to kind of the orange.
Yeah, he has like candles going in there or something. I see a guitar back there too.
Yeah, I see the guitars too.
Oh, it's so cool that he has everything in like glass cases. So if people are listening to this right now and not watching, Michael Giacchino is going through his room to find something cool.
Can you imagine he says he doesn't watch?
Stuff hung all over the place, but so it's a bit of a. But we'll start with this stuff. All right, so. Yeah. So.
Jake, explain.
Is there heroin in there? Yeah, that is a
empty.
prop from Lost, in which unfortunately Charlie it belonged to Mr. Echo, but unfortunately it got in the hands of Charlie whenever he was trying to overcome his heroin addiction. Because that's whenever you're on an island and you're going through withdrawal, the last thing you want is access to heroin, and unfortunately there was access to heroin on the island.
That's true.
Why do you have that piece specifically?
It was a prop from the show. It was used in the show, and it was kind of a big storyline in the whole thing. So yeah, was able to get that from them. That was great. Now this is just the mixing bowl.
Okay.
Right. However, this mixing bowl was used on the original Planet of the Apes, the original Jerry Goldsmith score. Now it was played by a percussionist named Emil Richards, and Emil was one of my favorite percussionists I have ever worked with. He's worked with everyone from George Harrison to Jerry Goldsmith to everybody. And he passed away about, I guess, a year ago. But he gave me this. When I got the Planet of the Apes job, he's like, "Oh, you're going to need this." I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "I used this on the original Planet of the Apes." He's like, I went into a hardware store and I accidentally knocked over a stack of mixing bowls, and I have the whole stack. They're back there too. And he bought them right away because he loved the way they sounded. And he took it home and just started going. And it's just part of the percussion ensemble that adds these layers and weird sounds because he wanted it to sound as weird as possible. So he collected all of this stuff and he would bring it over to Jerry Goldsmith and say, "What about this? What about that?" So we use that on our Planet of the Apes as well. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Then this is also from the original Planet of the Apes, which was played kind of thing. That's from that original one that Jerry did. This is kind of a fun thing here.
Oh no!
That's one of my favorite scores. That's one of the best scores you've ever written, by the way.
Thank you. I love the character of Doctor Strange so much. I did as a kid, and to be able to do that film was just a great pleasure.
The theme you did for that, that main theme, I love the way that sounded. It was so. I mean, when I think of that movie, that's the first thing that hits my mind is the score. Is that almost like Needle-esque type score you have to it? It's so awesome.
It was so much fun to do. I love that, and Benedict is fantastic. And then there's one other thing.
Sure, of course.
Thank you for doing this.
What is this?
I can't believe he brought that Lost.
Jake's face, it's so funny. So was that part of the plane wreckage, Jake? That was like that piece. See, I'm still on episode season 1.
You're gonna. That's a season 1 thing, but you're gonna learn where they came from later.
Okay.
Like you're gonna realize they're there before you realize where they came from.
Yeah, Michael,
These are the 2 guys that I played in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right. You were a stormtrooper. Yes. You kept the helmet.
Yeah, that was very nice of them to let me have it. But you can see on this one, they actually had to drill holes. I don't know if you can see them.
Oh my God.
There's like these.
Looks like a motorcycle helmet almost.
They kind of are, yeah. Anyway, there's these little holes I had to drill in because they were fogging up so much I couldn't see anything, so they drilled these holes in there. But
was that a cool experience?
So they put an explosive on my head and when I got shot, so Yeah, so that guy didn't make it through the movie, but this one's still alive somewhere in the Star Wars universe.
That's
which is
incredible.
nice.
That
And
is
then,
unbelievable.
I don't know. Back there is where all the scores are.
What do you mean, like
movie.
the written scores?
Oh.
Yeah. Pick a movie.
Star Trek, 2009.
All right. Let's see. So.
What is happening?
Star Trek. I'll just take out.
Oh my god.
So these are the. This is what we used on the stage. This is what I would use on the stage. And let me just see if I can find that cue we were just talking about.
Oh yeah.
There's all these different. Narada bing, Narada boom.
While you're finding that, when we went out to do the junket for the original Trek, they showed us they press screened it in the amphitheater that's on the Paramount lot because the sound was so extraordinary.
Oh yeah,
yes. That is one thing I will never forget is seeing that movie.
Dude, were we both there at the same time and didn't know each other?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Wow.
It was-
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel sat in front of me at that
I remember
screening.
being there. So this is the score.
Oh my god.
And
So
it
what are
has
the
everything
notes? What are the notes on there? Are those things you wrote in as you were recording?
As
Like,
we're recording, yes, I'll be like, okay, this one says add a grand casa. Grand casa is just a big bass drum. Add that there, and then there's, just what whatever. It's just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's just tons of this. Every movie, it's all over there.
That's amazing.
That's cool. You keep those.
That's
do you have
awesome.
every
Oh, yeah.
one you've done? Do you have every movie you've done?
Every video game, movie, TV show, whatever. Yeah.
Wasn't one of your first like big projects doing
Star Trek? These things.
Oh.
The opening, the main theme of Star Trek. My daughter made these for me for my birthday one year, and I was like, oh, these are cool. They sound cool. And so I was like, it was right before recording Star Trek, and I needed some kind of rhythmic thing in the beginning where you go, dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that's what that sound is. You hear.
Get out of here. Something your daughter made for you?
Yep, that's it. Yeah. So I've stuff my son has made me percussion instruments. Those are on Planet of the Apes and all different things. So yeah.
I gotta laugh. You say you don't watch the movies that you worked on, but you have so many Pixar films that when your kids are watching them, you have to be like out of the room and be like, wait a second, I know that.
It's true. Yeah. But my kids now are 22, 20, and 15.
No
so
way.
they're-
You look so
Yeah.
young. You gotta be kidding me.
Well.
Have they watched Lost yet?
Oh yeah, the Lost I've had to watch 4 times through because once when it aired, I watched it because I loved it. We would watch it with our neighbors, and then when my son turned 13, he watched it. When my daughter turned 13, she watched it, and then when my other son turned 13, he watched the whole thing. So
Do you have a favorite scene that you've heard your music to?
That's a good question.
in
General?
in general, I don't know. Not really. I don't know. I like hearing what other people think, I mean, because it's like when you do something yourself, you're never 100% happy with it. And one of the reasons I never go back and look, it took me years before I watched Star Trek again. Star Trek was a very hard movie to make. It was very difficult. We were changing things all the time and trying to get it just the way we wanted it. And I know that experience is exhausting. So when we were done with that movie, I was like, that's done. I'll move on. And then it wasn't until we did it live at the Hollywood Bowl that I had actually watched it. It was the first time I had seen it in years, and JJ was just sitting in the box next to me. And I remember texting him at some point during the movie and just said, this is actually pretty good.
It's not bad.
Michael, I want to tell you a quick story really quick, and this is sort of a me and Kevin story. And the only reason we tell this story all the time, and I feel like it kind of perfectly encapsulates you. Kevin and I, we're the three of us are all best friends. Kevin and I, they often pair us together on red carpets just because they know we're friends, and they know, like, just put Jake and Kevin together, they'll be fine. And Kevin and I were all working the red carpet for Mission Impossible 4. And we saw you in New York. Tom Cruise was there, and everyone, all the JJ was there, And then we saw you coming down the red carpet, and we screamed your name, please come over and talk to us. And we were holding out our microphones. And I remember you sort of like looked behind you and kind of like, and then you kind of like me, and you came over and you go, why do you guys want to talk to me? And we always tell that story just because, like, and I feel like that, because if you can't, we're just obviously such big fans, and the fact that, like, you had to ask, why do we want to talk to you? I just think that was the funniest thing, and I love telling people that story.
You know, it's funny because like after a while you go, okay, if someone's screaming my name at one of those events, I found a fellow nerd. You know, because there's that's people that really, love movies for more than just sort of like the stars, whoever's in it. They're into the whole thing, which is great. I love that.
That's this show.
Yeah.
You landed on the right
Good.
ship.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, you're doing a good service to humanity then.